Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Coast Guard Air Station Atlantic City. Today we're assembled to observe the retirement of MK2 Christopher Schumacher. Guests, please be seated, and please make sure to silence all your telephone devices. We will now give the podium to Air Station Atlantic City's commanding officer, Captain O'Brien.
All right, Eddies. Welcome, everybody. This is great. Welcome. I'm glad you made it. So, yes, good. All right, so me and Shu have been together for a while here, but MK2 Schumacher, everybody affectionately knows him as Shu, and he's been a fixture here at the air station for 7 years. Reported in, I think, July 1st of 2013. So 7 years is a long time, and that's great because we needed him the whole time. And but when you first got here, Shu, I know you didn't have any intention of staying, and you put in a one-time referral transfer, right? Was that with Bartolotta?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and they said no way, which was good for us. So luckily that was denied. But as everybody's aware, Shu is great at fixing anything. Anything there is to be fixed, he can fix it. He's probably going to be getting a call during this ceremony being like, hey man, where you at? We need this to be fixed. So, but we are all grateful for his can-do American spirit and ingenuity. I'm going to miss our morning talks and when he stops by. So, but what you may not know about Shu is that he's credited with saving 2 vessels in distress and their crews. He rescued a capsized sailboat and a shrimper boat taken on water in Florida. And for this, he was recognized as Boater of the Month by Doctors Lake Marina when he was 23 years old. And that was 5 years before joining the Coast Guard. So that, combined with September 11th, 2001, inspired Shu to enter the service and in service of his country and join the Coast Guard. So since joining the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard family in 2002, Shu has had many notable achievements, including honor graduate from the Engineering and Weapons School in Yorktown. He earned his Cutterman's qualification while serving on the Coast Guard cutter Frank Drew. He was selected as the Sailor of the Quarter more times than any of us can remember, and was selected as the Coast Guard NISU Seattle Enlisted Person of the Year in 2008, and was runner-up for the Coast Guard cutter Healy Sailor of the Year in 2013. Along the way, Shu has had many once-in-a-lifetime experiences, including participating with the Russians to bring needed fuel and supplies to the citizens of Nome, Alaska during the dead of winter, and conducting a joint expedition with the Canadian Coast Guard in the Arctic Ocean, while aboard Coast Guard cutter Healy in 2011. MK2 Schumacher, thank you for your extraordinary dedication over these past 2 decades. Your can-do attitude is exactly the spirit which has propelled our country through every hardship, including our current ones. Throughout our nation's history, there has always been Shus. MK2 Schumacher, those who had the ability to fix every piece of broken equipment, to keep everyone moving ahead, to keep everyone moving forward and not looking back. So Shu, you are my hero. Thank you for your service to our country, the Coast Guard, and the air station.
Captain Sean J. O'Brien will now present MK2 Christopher Schumacher with his End of Tour Award. Military personnel, attention to award.
Now the retirement ceremony for MK2 Christopher Schumacher is being held in the modular training room.
At least they're punctual.
Yeah, and the flyover. I had to time it with the flyover.
Yes.
Wait for the jets to...
Flyover always works.
Yep.
Petty Officer Schumacher is cited for outstanding achievement while serving at Coast Guard Air Station Atlantic City from July 2013 to July 2020. Logging over 5,500 maintenance hours, Petty Officer Schumacher was instrumental in maintaining 4 facilities totaling 150,000 square feet, including the air station, National Capital Region Air Defense Facility, Sector Field Office Philadelphia, and the 132-year-old Townsend Inlet Recreational Facility. He played a crucial role in the maintenance of $1 million in aviation ground support equipment, used to support 12 helicopters and a fleet of 27 government vehicles, providing more than 350,000 miles of transportation per year. He troubleshot, repaired, and overhauled critical base-wide systems, including the emergency generators at both the air station and Nick Radiff, as well as the unit's aging 930-gallon glycol system. He engineered a testing device that allowed him to replace faulty wiring harnesses on 10 HVAC units, rectifying significant electrical and fire hazards. In addition to personally contributing over 300 hours to snow removal operations, he conducted an emergent repair of the unit's front-end loader amidst harsh winter weather, ensuring the safety of the unit's 300-plus members, enabling them to provide continuous search and rescue coverage. Petty Officer Schumacher's technical prowess has saved the Coast Guard over $220,000 in contracted labor and material costs. Petty Officer Schumacher's dedication, judgment, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and are in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. MK2 Christopher Schumacher will now read his orders to retirement. Military personnel, attention to orders.
Bring it in. I'll go through here. Alrighty. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is the certified that machinery technician, second class Christopher A. Schumacher, having retired after honorable service in the United States Coast Guard, is awarded this testimonial as an acknowledgement of duty faithfully performed during a period of over 17 years, done at Washington, D.C., this third day of July in the year of our Lord, 2020. Carl L. Schultz. Yes, sir.
All right.
MK2, if you'd like to come read your retirement orders.
From Commander, Coast Guard Personnel Service Center, to MK2 Christopher Schumacher. Subject, retirement orders. Your retirement after 17 years of service is approved. In accordance with Title 14 U.S. Code Section 288, please detach from all duties on 03 July 2020 and proceed to your home of selection.
Please be seated. Captain Sean J. O'Brien will now present MK2 Christopher Schumacher with a certificate of appreciation for service in the U.S. Armed Forces from the President of the United States. Certificate of Appreciation for Service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America. MK2 Christopher Schumacher, I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You've helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proudest traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for those who will follow in your footsteps and for all Americans who join me today in saluting you for a job extremely well done. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. President Donald J. Trump, Commander-in-Chief. MK2 Christopher Schumacher, retired. The floor is now yours for remarks.
Boy, here's where I get to talk.
Yeah, it's all you.
Alrighty. That has to come off. I'm not good with normal hats. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit lengthy on this, but it's just me.
It's you.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys excuse me, I'm not used to front of people, but you know, I've always wondered what it feels like when somebody stands up here doing what I'm doing right now, being nervous as crap, all that kind of stuff, but are they happy, sad, excited? Well, now I know exactly what it is. It's like the day before you go to boot camp, or the night before you go to boot camp. Well, I'm the other officers, I don't know what y'all do, but waking up tomorrow, you're gonna be living a whole new life. It'll be a whole new adventure. I mean, everything ends today. for this. But thankfully, I love a new adventure. Amazingly, very few people make a massive difference in someone's lives these days. Small acts that they can do, or that they do, cause great memories for years to come. A couple shout-outs. Like John Myers helped me with getting on the board to Coast Guard Cutter Healy. Mark Clemacosta, he introduced me to snorkeling and this thing called paddleboarding. Jim Smith, obviously, everybody knows Jim. And Dave Merle, but you'll hear about him here. People have heard my story as a boot camp, and now it's changed over the years. But here's one that I haven't told anybody at all. I don't know if they do these anymore, but this is an address book. It has 68 names in it. It was supposed to be 70, but we lost 2 of them in boot camp. On the front cover, it says Papa 163. That was the company I came in with. We were mostly older people in prior service, and I've kept up with a lot of them, but one by one, they all disappeared off of Global till one's left. The very first name in it, mine, and that ends today also. I come from a very small town where most of the people that I grew up with are still living there. No, they never escaped. When I first joined the Coast Guard, when I first joined the Coast Guard, I didn't think they would or could ever come. Sorry, I'm going to freehand some of this stuff. I actually plan on going to boot camp, MKA school, go to my first unit, and bounce out and go do something else. I mean, it's what I've always done. I went different places. I love going other places. Then at my first Coast Guard unit, I met the Coast Guard Cutter Frank Drew's commanding officer, Dave Merle. He's like 6 foot up there. He's tall. He's seen something in me I never actually saw in myself, potential and talent. He allowed me, a fireman that was new on his cutter, to troubleshoot an engine failure on one of the generators. It's a normal thing for like a second class or a first class to go do it, and if you have a third. Problem was, they were on leave, so it was up to me. And of course, I figured it out and fixed it, but it was at that point that I realized that my talents, as he called them, was handy. I went on to serve two black holes, the Frank Drew out of Portsmouth and Anthony Petit out of Ketchikan. While serving on the Petit, or Pettit, I had a medical emergency that required me to get flown by a jet to get life-saving surgery done down in Seattle. But while I was down there, I figured, all right, they're probably going to boot me out. The only thing I was mostly worried about was my crew. It's really weird. I didn't want to be here. Now I'm worried about my crew, but actually I was worried about them touching my engines. But then I got orders. I mean, they had a med board start and everything. I got orders. So I reported to the Integrated Support Command in Seattle, where I worked in the gym using my talents, as they keep calling it, to fix our equipment. Then I caught a break and I was temporarily assigned to the NESU, Naval Engineering Support Unit. That's where I met John Myers. While there, I used my talents again to learn everything I could on 378s, the polar rollers, and especially the largest cutter we have, Coast Guard Cutter Healy. Then I received orders to actually stay at the NESU. Apparently I impressed him or something. I was only a third class when I got sent to Kodiak, Alaska to overhaul the top end section of the Coast Guard Cutter Alex Haley. I was in charge of doing the whole thing. They gave me two engineering firemen and a mess cook. And it went through. I volunteered every chance to go underway on the Healy to use my talents. Some of the times I didn't go, the NESU would actually fly me up to Juneau, Alaska, Ketchikan, Alaska, Dutch Harbor, Alaska, Barrow, Alaska. Barrow is the coolest. Polar bears fight on the beach right in front of you. It's really awesome. On one deployment, they sent me to the airport in the middle of a Master Chief's retirement ceremony, which doesn't sound too bad because I wasn't retiring. The only bad thing is, as you can tell by the cameras, I was in charge of all the audio video for his retirement. So yeah, they gave me 15 minutes to get out of there and get to the airport. I'm not sure he would ever want to talk to me again. On two of the occasions that they flew me up to Kodiak, as a third, I was able to actually have controls of a C-130. That is an awesome experience for anybody flying it. for the guys in the back, I'm pretty sure they did not sign up for that ride. I mean, it was all over the place. But then John Myers got transferred to the Healy, and right after he transferred, I got orders to report to the Healy also. Seems kind of funny, the timing. He leaves, I follow. Really, really cool guy. A couple fun years ensued after that. Right, I actually was able to eat dinner with the Commandant, Uncle Thad, or Thad Allen. Sorry. I went snorkeling, thanks to Mark Klimicosa, in a place called Sharks Cove in Hawaii. Awesome place. I swam in the Arctic Ocean, or in the ice of the Arctic Ocean, and best of all, I've been to the top of the world, where I've seen the Milky Way and the Aurora Borealis in all of their splendor. That I could talk about for hours, but I'm gonna skip all that. Then 7 years ago, I received orders to report at Air Station Atlantic City. Honestly, I was kind of not happy with the orders, but if that's where the Coast Guard wanted to send me, then so be it. Plus, the captain already told me on the first day he wasn't going to send me anywhere. That's a nice way of putting it. So this has been my home ever since. While here, I've been to so many. I've seen so many people come and go, and in some cases come back a couple times. I've served there four different captains. Captain Barlotto, which he transferred just as I got here. Captain Mingo, Captain Gleason, and now Captain O'Brien, which has been an honor, sir. Definitely has been an honor. I'm going to miss our morning chats. I've been deployed to a Hitron unit. I was able to fly in one of the Air Force planes during the Atlantic City Air Show, where we did the whole rolling over, flying through the city thing. Go to zero G's, where everything floats. Then they decide they're going to turn, and you see somebody's cell phone go flying past you. That was fun. I was able to fly around New York City in a Coast Guard helicopter a couple years ago. Now I have been known to refer to your helicopters as flying pumpkins. So not out of disrespect, they just look like flying pumpkins. I mean, how cool is it to fly around New York? Anybody that's flown through New York, when you go around the Statue of Liberty, I mean, you actually see something that you probably never would be able to see anywhere else. This is also where I met a most sapient person. Smart. Jim Smith. He is my boss, and he is my friend. He also became my mentor and has taught me so much more that I didn't know. He's allowed me to make mistakes, quite a few, but I've always learned from them. For all the lessons and sometimes unorthodox wisdom you've ever taught me, and for your friendship, I can't thank you enough, buddy. I've been like a sponge throughout my career, absorbing as much knowledge as I can, but also sharing it with anybody that wants to learn. I've worn many hats during my career, not just this one, but I've been the MK, EM, DC, ET, and even a BM at different units. People use the word talent for fixing things, but what I have is no talent, nor is it a gift. It's the skills that I've acquired from years of wanting to learn, wanting a good challenge. From working on the largest cutter to working on the most high-tech equipment, all in the hopes of finding that challenge. With the knowledge I've gained, I've been able to teach non-rates, third class, second class, first class, chiefs, even senior chiefs, how to fix stuff, and including an unknown number of the officer type people. I don't know how many there are. Oh yes. Every time my phone is rung, I've always answered it to come in and help anyone at any time. Even the 2:30 in the morning, dude, my truck's stuck on the lift calls for help. Well, I don't think Captain's gonna let me come do that anymore. We've all been given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Pilots, they get to operate the flying pumpkins. Aviation crew members, they get to fix them and go riding around in the pumpkins. Like all the time. ASTs, they're just crazy enough to jump out of them. Non-rates, you get to cut grass and paint some walls. EMs, awesome light changers. SKs, order stuff. Yeomans, yeah. Well, they do something too. MKs, also known as miracle workers, we get to fix the problems you don't know you had, or you didn't know you had, in ways you probably wouldn't understand. Miracle workers. The point again is the whole once-in-a-lifetime opportunity thing. Cherish the time you have here, doing what you're doing, because once you walk out that door and out of this career, you will miss it. I'm not even out the door yet, and I'm already missing it. So it's been a pleasure working with all of you and all the rest of them over there. And even though we're not on a ship, I'm still proud to have called you all my shipmates. Thank you. Very long, I apologize.
The watch. Shipmates, for many years, this Coast Guardsman stood the watch. While many of us lay about in our bunks at night, this Coast Guardsman stood the watch. While other of us were attending schools, this Coast Guardsman stood the watch. And yes, even before many of us were born, this Coast Guardsman stood the watch. As their families watched the storm clouds of distress brewing on the horizons of history, this Coast Guardsman stood the watch. This Coast Guardsman looked ashore and saw his family, often needing his guidance, but knew he must stay because he had the watch. For many years, he stood the watch so that our countrymen and we could sleep soundly, in safety, knowing that this Coast Guardsman would stand the watch. Today, we are here to say the watch stands relieved by those he has led, guided, and trained. MK2 Christopher Schumacher, you stand relieved. We now have the watch. Please join us in congratulating MK2 in his retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony for MK2 Christopher Schumacher, retired.
And now I get to wear the hat.